Thank you. Let's get back to Roger Zakheim, Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute Washington Director, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. Roger, I think we've got the audio sorted out. I do want to start with you, just your take more broadly on the current geopolitical landscape. There are a lot of uncertainties. Israel's in focus right now. But we just heard from Christina about these latest restrictions by commerce, and there are national security implications there, too, given the U.S. strategic competition against China on the world stage as well.
Yeah, thanks, Morgan. And you're right to focus on the regions in the world that present a challenge to the United States and their interconnectedness. So we have the United States trying to deter China in that strategic competition, particularly from challenging Taiwan and the freedom of the people of Taiwan. Of course, you referenced earlier with the Lockheed report, Ukraine, and the way the United States is supporting Ukraine defend its territory against Russia's aggression. And then, of course, in the Middle East now with Israel, as you referenced, the conflict at this point is restricted to Gaza, but with the President of the United States in Israel, what they're working on is trying to make sure that they can deter Hezbollah from expanding a second front from Lebanon. Of course, Iran is agitating for an expansion of the conflict. If that does happen, it reflects how two regions of the world essentially are in an armed conflict with a third we're trying to deter. It is a geopolitical scenario that is a huge challenge to the United States national security, to the prosperity and the global trade that we rely on.
And of course, we're having this conversation as we see the clock tick down to another possible government shutdown here in the U.S. The House still does not have a speaker. D.C. dysfunction at its finest. How does all of that affect the U.S.'s abilities to either supply or support allies or even enact its own next generation of deterrence?
Well, the United States for generations has been the arsenal of democracy. The Reagan doctrine, of course, is to support allies and partners who are seeking to defend freedom and expand freedom in the world. That requires the President of the United States to stand with moral clarity. President Biden has done that to date. And it also requires the U.S. Congress to support that president. And without a Speaker of the House, we're not going to be able to give support to our allies and partners and friends who rely on the United States' clarity and support and vision. A speaker is going to be critical to any appropriation, both in terms of the annual appropriations for the defense of the United States and what goes to our allies and partners, but of course the supplemental that Taiwan is relying on, that Ukraine is relying on, and now we expect Israel will rely on, not only for the conflict in Gaza, but of course should a second front open up, it will be even more critical for the United States to provide emergency appropriation for the missile defenses and other precision-guided munitions that no doubt Israel will need the United States to give them.
So if we go into November with a Speaker pro tem, that scenario running the House, just sort of vote by vote, 2 weeks at a time, in essence, only things that Democrats and Republicans largely agree on, what's the potential impact on a shutdown? Who will Biden and the Democrats have to negotiate with, and how much market risk is involved in that?
I think there's market risk, but to the questions earlier, there's geopolitical risk.
Sure.
This is unprecedented territory, as you know, in American political history. Now, those things where you can have consensus, perhaps we can get through even that situation approaching a shutdown where, leaders can come together. But the issue, of course, is that the Republicans in the House of Representatives have not backed a leader. And so if they can't back a leader, it's unlikely they will come to an agreement on some sort of legislative package. So this is unprecedented. Likelihood here is an unknown, and the impact geopolitically and on the markets is high risk.